All right, guys. So history seems to be repeating itself as it looks like the fall of Saigon, which happened at the end of the Vietnam conflict in 1975, after we withdrew U.S. forces from the country. It looks like that is happening again. Looks like that's happening again. Okay, the plan to withdraw from Afghanistan is not going well under the Biden administration, and really nobody should be too surprised, considering how our military is more concerned with being woke rather than exhibiting strength, right? Not exhibiting weakness. And it is obvious, or it seems to be obvious, that the Taliban thinks that our withdrawal and what we're doing, okay, right now under the Biden administration, is a sign of weakness, as they basically have overrun numerous cities in Afghanistan, essentially taken over the country, right? To a certain extent. Now, they haven't taken the major capital, Kabul, yet. And Biden says he doesn't think that they will, but can we believe anything that Biden says at this point, especially in regards to Middle East policy or anything having to do with the military? Okay. And President Trump, former President Trump, came out and ripped Biden for a withdrawal plan, saying that it would have been much more successful with him in office. And guys, I'm gonna tell you, I actually do believe this. I would much rather have Trump leading the withdrawal, because I know that Trump's not gonna show weakness, right? Trump's not gonna be weak. Okay, I would much rather have a strong president like Trump executing this withdrawal than somebody like Biden, right? Because we didn't have this under Trump. Remember, guys, Trump wanted to get out of Afghanistan, and he kept pushing to do that. And the thing is that, you know, the generals, obviously the military, is pushing back against them. But at the same time, it's not like the leaders of the Taliban didn't know that they were trying to get out, right? And you didn't see them popping off like this under Trump, because they knew that Trump would have clapped back with the quickness, right? He wasn't going to be weak about it, okay? Or at least that's my opinion. That's my belief, right? That's my belief. But they know Biden, on the other hand, they think that Biden's weak, just like Putin thinks that Biden's weak, right? And that's why you're seeing them act out as we try to pull out. So let's read a little bit more here about Trump ripping Biden for his handling of the Afghanistan withdrawal. Former President Donald Trump slammed President Joe Biden for the deteriorating situation in Afghanistan, making him the second former commander-in-chief to criticize the Biden administration's move towards ending the 2 decades long war. Trump, who during his administration brokered a deal with the Taliban that enshrined a full troop withdrawal date of May 1st, said his removal of troops would have been conditions-based withdrawal. Basically saying, listen, we have to have these amount of things done from you guys in terms of how conditions are on the ground before we execute the full withdrawal. If you slip up, if you play with me, right, we gonna clap you, okay? We gonna clap you. That's essentially what it is, right? That's what the agreement was. On Thursday, the former president said he personally had discussions with top Taliban leaders whereby they understood what they're doing now would not be acceptable. It would have been much different and much more successful withdrawal, and the Taliban understood that better than anybody. Yeah, because they respond to strength, right? These type of people don't respond to weak people, bro, right? And this is, in my opinion, why you've seen so much peace in the Middle East under Trump, right? And all of a sudden, Biden gets in office and things are falling apart. It's not a coincidence, guys. It's not. It's not, right? There's a certain type of way that you got to deal with certain people. Okay, you can't be what Jen Psaki is doing.
The Taliban also has to make an assessment about what they want their role to be in the international community.
Telling the Taliban they have to decide what type of group they're going to be on the world stage. What? Like, what? Like, what is that? Again, the Biden administration, in my opinion, obviously, they're not being taken seriously. The comments came as the Taliban added a 10th provincial capital to their string of territorial gains, while the United States withdrawal at the end of the month nears. Trump called the situation in Afghanistan not acceptable and said it should have been done much better. Officials in the Biden administration are losing confidence in the Afghan government and the military's capability to hold off the Taliban, and some believe the fall could happen sooner than expected, according to the Washington Post. Various officials said they believe Kabul could fall to the Taliban anytime from a month to 90 days, depicting a much dire situation than intelligence officials thought, which was that a fall could come as soon as 6 months after the U.S. completes its withdrawal. That'd be a damn shame. It would be a damn shame. Guys, we spent $2 trillion on the war in Afghanistan. 80-some billion dollars training the Afghan army just for them to get overran in a matter of a few months. That's how much of a failure these politicians have been. Not our military. Our military did not fail in Afghanistan. Our politicians failed in Afghanistan, right? Let's be clear. We spent all this money to train the Afghan army just for them to get overrun, right? As soon as we're trying to pull out. Again, Trump has low-key been trying to pull out for a while, but you didn't see the Taliban try him like that. They didn't try him, okay, because they know what was up, right? But Biden, though, they trying Biden. They really are. Earlier this week, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the fall of the Afghan government is not inevitable, though Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said there's not much the U.S. military can do to help. Last month, former President George W. Bush also hit the Biden administration for the decision to pull troops, arguing that the consequences are going to be unbelievably bad. I'm afraid Afghan women and girls are going to suffer unspeakable harm after the troops finish leaving Afghanistan on August 31st. Bush said it's unbelievable how that society changed from the brutality of the Taliban. Okay, so listen, guys. I do, in general, support the withdrawal of, U.S. troops from Afghanistan, but it has to be done in a way that's responsible. Okay, you just can't pull everybody out unless certain conditions are met, which is basically what Trump tried to do or wanted to do. Okay, so in my opinion, it seems like the response between what was going on under Trump versus what's going on under Biden is clear in regards to how the Taliban thinks about the withdrawal at this point, right? They feel like they can kind of get away with it under this president. That's what it seems like. I'm just saying. But to be fair to Biden, right, the same thing could have happened under Trump, okay? Except the Taliban would have just waited, right? They would have actually respected the conditions that Trump put in front of them, which I think they would have. I don't think they would have tried Trump like this and say, you know what? We'll meet the conditions. Wait until after everybody leaves and then try to take over, right? That very well could have happened. And at that point, I mean, listen, what more can you do, right? I mean, these guys obviously have no problems just waiting forever, right? They waited 20 years, okay? So they probably have no problem just chilling, right? Just waiting. So, I mean, there's only so much you can really do at a certain point. But like I said, I do generally support withdrawal. We've been there too long, okay? We've spent too much money there, and I would much rather spend that money on homeless vets in this country. That's what I'd much rather spend the money on. But guys, I really don't believe that we will execute a full withdrawal, right? With that being said, I think that with this happening, I think low key, we're going to start to really pull back in, right? And because you have a lot of people in Washington, right? A lot of the neocons who really just want to stay there forever, who want to make Afghanistan basically a colony of the United States. They're really going to pressure Biden hard to just stay, right? They're going to pressure him to stay. But I will say, I mean, I can't lie. There's a part of me that's just like, okay, if the country falls, it falls, right? Does it really matter to me? It doesn't. I mean, as long as, we can still prevent attacks on our interests, right? And protect the American citizens abroad and domestically, hey, if the country falls, it falls. It's not our problem, right? That's why I wasn't on board with all these people that was like, we should interfere in Cuba and do direct intervention in terms of what was going on over there. Even though I support the Cuban protests from afar, but I don't support our military getting involved in trying to overthrow the Cuban government like some people was trying to say, right? Or even getting involved in Haiti or any of those places, right? Every time we get involved, it never works out good. We're not good at building nations. We're not nation builders, okay? Some people want democracy and some people don't, right? You got to let people decide what they want, right, in their society. And the Afghan citizens and the army and the legitimate government there, they got to fix their own country, right? They got to fix their own issues. They got to solve their own problems. We can't solve their problems. We've, again, dumped trillions into this, right? Again, 80-some billion dollars went to training an army that got overran in months. Listen, there's only so much you can do. There's only so much more you can do. Again, I would much rather spend that money domestically, okay, on the American people, right, taking care of us, okay, looking out for America first, than other people who, got to solve their own problems. right? That way, if we pull out, hey, you can't blame us, right? At the end of the day, we tried, we did our thing, we tried to help. You can no longer say that we're destabilizing the country or we're trying to interfere with what they really want. No, they got to take care of it, right? And I think that that's the right thing to do. Okay, so either way this goes, okay, if the country falls, hey, look, it is what it is. Obviously, there's criticism on Biden for doing it in a way that's sloppy, right? Kind of making all the work that we put in kind of for nothing. But again, at the same time, if it falls, it falls. But I don't think that in my heart of hearts, I don't think that there will be a full withdrawal. I think that they're probably going to try to ratchet up, getting back in there more. Like we've, sent 3,000 or so troops there to protect our embassy and the Americans there, which I think is the right thing to do in a situation like this. But to me, that just leads to, again, more intervention and then basically just coming back, right? We'll see what happens, but let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.